Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mills.
My name is Chris.
If you like my videos, if you can take a second to hit subscribe, that would be amazing. Turn on notifications, send it to a friend you think might be interested, that would be great, and always comment below. Today, based on your requests, I've gotten a lot of questions based on this transition to the US.
So we moved here about 8-9 months ago. August 2nd. We got here from the Dominican Republic.
Yes. So I lived in Jarabacoa for a year and then Santiago. He's always lived in Santiago, and we decided to move back here, or not back here for him. He's never lived in the States before. We did a video on his transition and how is it going. We also did a video on the top things that we miss from the Dominican Republic, so I'll link those below, you can check them out. But I get a lot of questions on what doesn't he like, because in those videos he was mostly saying he doesn't have a big transition because he visited the States so many times before he moved, and that he likes the lifestyle and the culture here. So we're gonna do a video about the 5 things he does not like about living in the States, because I've gotten that question a lot. I think from some of you that have a husband or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or wife coming from the DR, what can you expect that they won't like when they're here? Because nowhere is perfect. I made my video 5 things I hate about living in the DR, even though the positives 1,000,000% outweighed the negatives. It seems like you guys are interested in what he doesn't like. So what's the number 1 thing that you don't like about living in the States? Number 1 worst to not as bad.
Okay, so the number 1 would be not having a constant weather.
What? That's your worst one?
Yeah.
I never know his answers beforehand, and I'm like, these are so mild. What?
That would be my first complaint. My biggest complaint. Not having a constant weather. You can have for example, well, it happens in all states, except for a couple of states like Florida or California, something like that. But for example, here in Arizona, New York, some other states, the temperature, the weather varies so much. Here in Arizona, right now it's 70 something, 72, and at night it can be 48, and I'm not used to that.
That happens every night. It drops in the desert.
It happens every night. Mostly every night, but I don't really like that. I come from the DR. I'm used to having constant weather all day, for the most part, all year.
Well, thank goodness I didn't move him to freaking Michigan or something with snowstorms. Wow, I'm surprised that's your number 1 thing. That's not even cultural, but okay, good job.
The rest are simple, minimal stuff.
Number 2, what is it?
How rushed things are. Everything is on. I mean, it's not that bad, but it kind of bothers me, because there's no not everyone has intentionality with what they're doing, 100% intentionality with what they're doing, since everything is on a schedule and on a time and on an agenda, and you meet up with people, it's feels like it's timed, and when the time's up, it's bye, see you, and then I feel it's all done.
Yeah, so as you guys probably know, in the DR it's not like that at all.
I'm used to spending real time with people. I'm used to not having a schedule. I'm used to not having a whole list of things. My time organized, so that I can be with certain people just a certain amount of time. I'm used to spending days with the same person. I'm used to
so dramatic.
Staying all night up talking to people. You know what I'm saying? That just doesn't happen here, unless in my age.
Yeah,
and,
that's the thing.
In the circle I'm surrounded. With.
It does happen here, but I feel more if you're younger. We have great friends here and great talks with them and stuff, but everyone has to work early, or we have to go to the gym, or all these things, so it's different in the DR. I was gonna say, if you guys know, which I'm sure most of you do, in the DR we could sit outside and talk to friends all day, and And when we wake up, it's like, what are we doing today? And it's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun because, like, there would be days that we, like, weekends that we didn't know what we were going to do. And then we ended up on the beach or in Samana or Cabarete. So it's kind of fun, like, not having everything planned. But on the flip side, it's nice, like, kind of knowing what you're going to do that day, too. So, okay, that makes sense. All right, number 3. What's the third thing that you don't like about living here?
Third thing would be, like, friendliness. For example, like, well, this is like a cultural difference. It doesn't, I don't hate it, but you know, I kind of miss it from, you know, from living in the Caribbean. I miss like having like constant like friends, you know, like, that I can like reach out to 24/7, for example.
Like, people have a little bit of a guard up here, a little bit more than there.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like not 100% open, you know what I'm saying? Like, living in the DR, like, you can count on, like, you know, like going to anyone's place or going somewhere with someone, you know, like openly, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not worrying about, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Or like he could bring me wherever, like if his friends invited him somewhere, I could just come and it wouldn't be like weird, and vice versa. If my friends invited me somewhere, I wouldn't really have to like worry about, oh, can Chris come, or is this girls only, or whatever. Whereas like here, it's a little bit more like who's invited
yeah.
and who's coming, and like if it's not your house, you can't really invite anyone else. So yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm like taking his answer. Number 4.
Number 4. So, like I said, these aren't things that I hate. It's just things that, you know, like, kind of like, you know, like, make me feel a little bit different, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Number 4 would be, like, physical affection. In general, like, you know,
Yeah, that's a
coming
good one.
where I come from, you know, you hug everyone, you know, handshake everyone.
Kiss them.
You know, I feel like here, I don't, you know, I understand the you know, I'm not, you know, I try not to be ignorant, and you know, I understand the cultural differences, but you know, you still miss that.
Cariñoso.
It's crazy because I was talking to a friend from church, and he's from Indonesia, and he said like he misses, he's gonna miss, like, when he comes back to Indonesia, he's gonna miss like being able to hug and, you know, like handshake his brothers here.
His guy friends.
Because like back in Indonesia, he cannot, like, you know, touch any
Hug
man, because like
guys.
they, you know, they're gonna think they're, you know, he's like homosexual or anything, you know.
That's insane. Yeah,
like,
DR is so.
But like, you know, the same way with, you know,
different.
people in general, like, I feel like I can't. Sometimes I you know, I just, you know, like, greet people, and then it's just like, hey,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, like,
hi.
hey, from like 3, 4
I'm the
feet.
master at that. Hey.
Yeah, and like I'm not really used to that. I'm getting used to it, you know. And
Yeah.
it doesn't really bother me, but you know, one of the little things.
Yeah, it was weird, like when I first moved here to Boyd back, because there you literally kiss everyone. Like when I see them, you kiss someone on the cheek, you hug them, and I was doing that to everyone here that we were meeting. And we're in this like marriage group with a bunch of other couples, and I kept like full on hugging the guys and like trying and like having to remember like, oh wait, no, we don't kiss them, and their wives would be right next to them. I'm like, hold up, like, is she trying to make a move on my man? Like, it's just different.
Yeah.
You just don't do that, and they would probably think I'm like flirting with them or something.
Yeah.
We hug, but a lot of the guys are like side hug, and I'm like, just hug me.
Yeah.
All right, that was good. And numero 5. He has one, but he's scared to say it. Go. No mean comments.
So one thing that I noticed, this is not, like I said, this is not major. This is just like, you know, things
A
that I
minor
noticed
thing. Yeah.
that a lot of people do, and it's like the people force themselves to be like extra.
Wait,
You know what I'm
is it
saying?
going?
When they're talking, when they're talking to you, when they're serving you in a certain type of way, they force themselves to be like
Like
extra,
extroverted?
like extra nice, or you know, like extra excited. And I was taught by my parents to be like real, like 100% real, like, you know, don't be a hypocrite, or don't be
like
yeah,
fake.
like don't be fake, like real all the time, no matter like who you're dealing with, or you know,
Yeah.
If you know that person, or if you don't know that person, like saying the same thing to their face, and when they turn back, it's the same thing. That's how I was raised, and that's one of my biggest values. So I've noticed that people, like, when you're talking to them, they like, like they act extra happy or extra nice, you know what I'm saying? And like they somehow force the conversations, you know what I'm saying?
Like
you can tell by their expressions, by their faces.
Oh my God, hey, how are you? He always says, I'm genuinely, like, I do that when I meet people, but I don't know, I think I'm genuine about it. But so if we're in a group of friends, there's not a lot of like awkward silences. Like, Americans don't really like awkward silences, so he's always like, oh my gosh, you guys talk so much, like just let it sit for a second. But with my closest friends, obviously, like, we can sit in silence for hours and it's not weird. But I think overall, he's pointed out that like if we had like 2 other friends here and we were just quiet, I would like try to talk. I would bring up a new subject because I don't want them to be uncomfortable. Like, we're always thinking like, oh, are they bored? Or I am, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, for example, when we are with a group of friends or her friends, there's sometimes that I would like to be in a conversation, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's like a constant, like, battle, like who talks the most, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, who fills up the the voice more, or who fills up the silence more, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I mean, I'm not like mad or completely bothered, but I'm just like, I guess so slow, like, and I like to think, before I talk, and I like to, process what I'm gonna say, and I don't like say stuff, just because there's a silence. Sorry, just because
Who did you say sorry to? The chair?
No, because I like.
Oh.
Just because there has to be something said. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. With sitting just that. Thinking and just like waiting.
I kind of feel like that too here. Sometimes when I'm in big groups, it's hard for me to like get a word in. And I feel like with at least the friends that we're friends with, everyone wants to say something like better than the next person. It's not like a competition, but they want to be like insightful. So like by the time I think of something good that I want to say, because I also like to think about it, the conversation's on like 3 subjects past. Yeah, a lot of times he'll be like, I couldn't even get a word in. And I'm like, I didn't even know you wanted to.
Yeah.
But you interrupt people all the time. Me.
Well, I mean, you don't want me.
No, I'm saying.
You don't want me to be silent for.
So
for
do
my
it.
whole life.
Do it to the other people. Just jump on in.
So where I come from, people like to hear what everyone has to say. You know what I'm saying? I
Do you think that's true?
Yeah.
Your friends. It depends on your friend group.
Mostly.
Because a lot of people there would cut me off, and then I'd be like, "Well, that's not what I was saying at all," and then they just go with it.
In general, where I come from, when you're like in a group of friends or a group of people, if you start talking, you're gonna like finish what you're gonna say. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna listen to you.
So I think that was a pretty good list. 5 things he doesn't like about living in the States or U.S. culture. Just as a disclaimer, before I get all these comments, you like living here, correct?
Oh, I love.
He loves it here. Like every time I ask him, do you miss the DR? I feel like I miss it more. I just don't want to see any of the comments that I get on some videos that are like, oh, you forced him to come here, or like, oh, he hates it, clearly. I'm like, first of all, Chris is like muy tranquilo, like this is his personality when he's recording, because he doesn't like, he's like way more animated off camera. So don't think that he's like a prisoner of war here, like I have him chained up. Like, he does like it here. That's my disclaimer before anyone's like, well, if you hate it, leave. Like on my DR video, everyone was like, don't live there yet then. I'm like, dude, 5 things I don't like out of like a million things I do like. Sorry, that was my piece, because don't come for my man.
Yeah, so these are just things, a couple of things that I don't really like. Nothing crazy. I don't.
Yeah, those are for like his worst one's the weather. That's pretty mild.
I don't even think too much about these things. Just that like.
If you had to make a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you like the video, if you like her channel, her older videos, just hit that subscribe button.
Good job.
And
donate to my Cash App.
No, make sure you stay tuned for the next videos.
Yep. Any video requests, please comment them below. We have more time because we're in quarantine-ish right now, but also like I want to make sure I'm doing videos that you're all interested in. So just feel free to go ahead and suggest anything. We're gonna do a live video with a Dominican couple that we're friends with that live here and kind of get their thoughts on life in the States coming from the DR, and a little salsa bachata lesson. All right, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys soon.
Love you.
Bye.